Diagonal stripes sloping downward left on a barricade or panel mean? A. The driver should stop. B. The driver should bear to the right. C. The driver should bear to the left. D. The driver should drive in a straight line. C. The driver should bear to the left. The diagonal stripes on a barricade or vertical panel guide drivers in the direction in which they should pass. Stripes sloping downward and to the right mean the driver should bear to the right. Conversely, stripes sloping downward and to the left mean bear to the left. This sign is used to warn drivers: A. That the right lane ends and traffic should merge left. B. That the road curves ahead. C. About upcoming intersections. D. About road construction. A. That the right lane ends and traffic should merge left. This sign indicates that the right lane on a multi-lane roadway ends ahead. Traffic in the right lane must merge left. Blood alcohol content (BAC) depends on each of the following, except A. Your body weight. B. How much you drink. C. How much time passes between drinks. D. How physically fit you are. D. How physically fit you are. Your blood alcohol content (BAC) depends on how much alcohol you drink, how much time passes between drinks, and your weight. It is not affected by the type of alcoholic beverages you drink, your level of physical fitness, or how well you can hold your liquor. This road sign means: A. Steep grade ahead. B. Pedestrian crossing ahead. C. Low ground railroad crossing. D. Low clearance. D. Low clearance. This sign indicates that the overpass ahead has a low clearance. You should not proceed if your vehicle is taller than the height shown on the sign, in this case, 13 feet 6 inches.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
When approaching a T intersection, drivers: A. Should yield the right of way to cross traffic. B. Have the right of way. C. Should force their way into traffic. D. Should back up and turn around. A. Should yield the right of way to cross traffic. When approaching a T intersection while traveling on the street ending at the intersection, you must stop and yield the right of way to vehicles on the crossroad. Only proceed when it is safe to do so. This sign means: A. Crossroad ahead. B. Flagger ahead. C. Lane ends. D. Turn right or go straight. A. Crossroad ahead. Warning signs prepare drivers for upcoming road conditions and hazards and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign alerts drivers to an upcoming intersection. This sign means: A. No left turn. B. Flagger ahead. C. Two-way left turn. D. Turn right or go through. A. No left turn. Regulation signs regulate traffic speed and movement, displaying rules which drivers must obey. This regulation sign means that left turns are prohibited. When you see this sign, you must: A. Stop completely and check for pedestrians and cross traffic. B. Slow down without coming to a complete stop. C. Stop completely and wait for a green light. D. Slow down and check for traffic. A. Stop completely and check for pedestrians and cross traffic. Any 8-sided sign is a stop sign. At an intersection with a stop sign, you must stop completely and check for pedestrians and cross traffic in the intersection. Wait for the intersection to clear before proceeding. At an intersection with a yield sign, you should A. Always stop before entering the intersection. B. Yield just to the traffic on the right. C. Yield just to the traffic on the left. D. Slow down and yield the right of way to other traffic. D. Slow down and yield the right of way to other traffic. A yield sign means that you must slow down and yield the right of way to traffic in the intersection or roadway you are entering. Distracted driving may be caused by A. Eating, drinking, or smoking. B. Talking or texting on a cellular phone. C. Changing a radio station or CD. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. It is estimated that drivers make 200 decisions for every mile traveled, making it vital that drivers focus their full attention on the task of driving. Performing any additional task can create a dangerous distraction. Always signal when A. Changing lanes. B. Pulling into or out of a parking space. C. Pulling into traffic from an alley or parking area. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Always use the proper turn signal when changing lanes, pulling into or out of a parking space, or pulling into traffic from an alley or parking area. Communicate with other drivers on the road to help prevent accidents. Double solid yellow lines painted down the middle of the road mean A. Railroad crossing ahead. B. Pedestrian crossing ahead. C. Passing is not permitted from either direction. D. Passing is permitted from either direction. C. Passing is not permitted from either direction. Double solid yellow lines in the center of the road mean that passing is not allowed from either direction. You may not cross the lines unless you are making a left turn or passing pedestrians, bicyclists, and riders of scooters or skateboards when the opposite lane is clear and you can pass safely. At night, it is hardest to see A. Road signs. B. Pedestrians. C. Other motorists. D. Street lights. B. Pedestrians. Compared to signs and other roadside objects, pedestrians are hardest to see at night. Who is required to wear a safety belt in a motor vehicle? A. Only the driver. B. Only adult passengers. C. All of the vehicle's occupants. D. Only child passengers. C. All of the vehicle's occupants. In the state of Texas, the driver and all passengers in a passenger vehicle are required to use safety belts if the vehicle is equipped with safety belts. This law applies to all passengers, regardless of age. This road sign means A. No right turn. B. Curve. C. Turn right or left. D. Traffic flows only in the direction of the arrow. D. Traffic flows only in the direction of the arrow. This one-way sign indicates that traffic flows only in the direction of the arrow. When passing an emergency vehicle stopped on the side of the road, drivers should A. Increase their speed. B. Vacate the lane closest to the emergency vehicle or slow down. C. Ask the emergency worker if they need help. D. Move to the lane closest to the stationary vehicle. B. Vacate the lane closest to the emergency vehicle or slow down. If you are driving past an emergency vehicle parked on the side of the road, you must vacate the lane closest to the stationary emergency vehicle. If you cannot move over safely, you must slow down. What kinds of drugs can affect your driving ability? A. Allergy medicine. B. Marijuana. C. Cold remedies. D. All of these choices. D. All of these choices. Many kinds of drugs can impair your ability to drive. This includes illegal drugs and legal prescription or over-the-counter medications. It can be a criminal offense to drive while impaired by any drug. Fines for moving traffic violations in construction and maintenance zones are A. Lessened. B. Doubled. C. Non-existent. D. Unchanged. B. Doubled. In Texas, fines for all traffic violations occurring in a construction or maintenance zone are doubled if workers are present and warning signs are present in advance of the work zone. When approaching a steady yellow traffic light, drivers should A. Accelerate to avoid a red light. B. Continue driving, as they have the right of way. C. Slow to a stop, unless they are already within the intersection. D. Check to see what the cars next to them are doing. C. Slow to a stop, unless they are already within the intersection. A steady yellow traffic light indicates that a red light is about to appear. Stop unless you are already within the intersection. You are driving when it begins to rain. You should A. Drive faster than surrounding traffic. B. Drive at the maximum posted speed limit. C. Slow down. D. Drive closely behind the vehicle in front of you. C. Slow down. When heavy rain reduces visibility, reduce your speed. Turn on your headlights so other drivers can see your vehicle. If the rain is so heavy that you are unable to see clearly, drive onto the shoulder and stop until the rain lets up. How often are motor vehicles required to be inspected? A. Once every 4 years. B. Once every 3 years. C. Once every 2 years. D. Once every year. D. Once every year. All motor vehicles registered in Texas must be inspected each year at an official motor vehicle inspection station. This includes motorcycles, mopeds, scooters, and autocycles. Evidence of financial responsibility for the vehicle being inspected must be presented at the time of the inspection. Fill in the blank. Limit your concentration, perception, judgment, and memory. A. Only a blood alcohol level greater than the legal limit can. B. Alcohol does not. C. Even the smallest amount of alcohol can. D. Only a blood alcohol level greater than 0.05% can. C. Even the smallest amount of alcohol can. Even the smallest amount of alcohol will reduce your concentration, perception, judgment and memory, and your driving skills will suffer. No one can drink and drive safely. When making a right turn on a green light, you must A. Maintain your normal driving speed. B. Stop and look for nearby police cars. C. Yield to pedestrians. D. Increase your normal driving speed. C. Yield to pedestrians. Unless a posted sign prohibits it, you may turn right or left at a steady green light. When turning, you must yield to other vehicles and pedestrians within the intersection. When two vehicles enter an intersection from different highways at the same time, which vehicle must yield the right of way? A. Either one. B. The vehicle on the left. C. The vehicle on the right. D. Neither. B. The vehicle on the left. At intersections that are controlled by signs or signals and at intersections that are uncontrolled, the driver on the left must yield the right of way to the driver on the right when two vehicles arrive to the intersection at the same time. This sign means A. Low clearance. B. Fines double in a work zone. C. No left turn. D. Do not block intersection. A. Low clearance. Warning signs prepare drivers for upcoming road conditions and hazards and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign tells drivers that they are approaching an area with low clearance. When driving in a construction zone, you should be prepared: A. To stop. B. To change lanes. C. For unexpected movement from workers or equipment. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. When you are in a construction and maintenance work area, be prepared to slow down or stop as you approach workers and equipment. Be prepared to change lanes. Be prepared to react to unexpected movements of workers and equipment. You should not park within fill in the blank of an intersection. A. 20 feet. B. 30 feet. C. 35 feet. D. 45 feet. A. 20 feet. You should not park within 20 feet of an intersection. An improperly parked vehicle may cause a crash. Signs that are colored orange are: A. Work zone signs. B. Regulatory signs. C. School zone signs. D. Guide signs. A. Work zone signs. Highway work zones are established according to the type of work underway along the roadway. Signs in work areas are typically diamond-shaped, orange, have black letters or symbols, and serve as a warning that people are working on or near the highway. When is it legal to have an open container of alcohol in a motor vehicle passenger area? A. While the vehicle is stopped. B. Never. C. While the vehicle is parked. D. While the vehicle is being operated. B. Never. It is illegal to possess an open container of alcohol in a motor vehicle passenger area located on a public highway, regardless of whether the vehicle is stopped, parked, or being operated. Conviction of this offense is punishable by a fine not to exceed $500. You are driving when your power steering stops working. You should: A. Honk your horn and turn off the ignition. B. Turn on your hazard lights and brace yourself. C. Work hard to steer, reduce your speed, drive to a safe area, and stop. D. Slam on your brakes. C. Work hard to steer, reduce your speed, drive to a safe area, and stop. If your power steering stops working, additional effort will be required to maintain steering control. Reduce your speed and pull off the roadway to stop in a safe area.